Hi guys, this is Gary Chan. I want to talk about what's helped me become successful in real estate. And I think there are a lot of components that are important, but I just want to focus on one thing today. Because if you start with this one thing and then move on to other things, it will help build. It will build as a foundation. So, what I've done in the last couple days is I've been looking on Zillow for properties outside of my area. And I just started with just a dream, What if I could buy a house, like a really cheap house in Hawaii? What would that look like? I put a search for less than $50,000 in Hawaii. I think maybe start with like under 90,000, and I saw a listing for $39,000. And what I found was it was something like a leasehold estate. I'm not sure if that's the exact word for it, but it had 7 years left on that, and there was a $1,200 a month HOA on it. So I called the realtor on it and I said, "Hey, I was just curious. I see a property here for $39,000. This could get me into Hawaii for $39,000. What are the details?" And she told me after 7 years, you lose the property to the um, actual owner of it or the prior owner of it. And on top of it, there's a $400 a month tax, and there is a $2,600 a month allowance or fee towards the current owner of it or the prior owner of it, which amounts to something like $4,200, $4,300 a month. And that kind of changed a lot, right? Because if you're talking like it's almost like 50,000 a year. She said it was $1 million real estate. And this is like a condo, maybe 2 bed, 1 bath, 1,000 square feet. I don't really know the details, to be honest, but it just kind of opens up my eyes about what's out there and how things cost. And and then I started, from there I bounced to this other idea. There's people that are doing G-lamping, and they are creating they're making basically like these like high-end tents in the middle of nowhere, and they're Airbnb, or they're kind of, they're not Airbnb directly, they're creating their own website and marketing it themselves, and they're charging like $100 $200 a night in basically a high-end tent in the middle of nowhere. And I think that's probably got some really good return on it, but I was thinking, I don't know if I want to be out in the middle of nowhere. So I started thinking there's another thing called the tiny house movement, and you could go buy land out in the middle of nowhere and kind of do the same thing. Build a 400 square feet house, or you could parcel, what do you call it, subdivide the land, sell a portion of it, and then lease another portion of it and charge space rent, sort of like an RV park. So I started looking at that and seeing what people have, what's currently out there. Let's say you look at the top 10 tiny house communities out there. And you can learn a lot just by seeing what other people are doing and how they have it set up. And it's actually another option. But I'm thinking, wow, it could take like 5 years to build that out. And is that something for me? Do I want to go out in the middle of nowhere? And do I have the passion to do this? Those are like serious questions I have to ask. And then I started Googling, low cost communities, cities in the United States. I started looking at um, Ohio, Memphis, Tennessee. I think there was one in Alabama. There's another one in like Colorado. And I start looking at the houses there. And each area has its own pluses and minuses, right? But by getting to know, and what people tell you is get to know your real estate, your local real estate. Well, right now I know my local real estate, and I look at what properties come on my market in my area. But I want to expand my horizons as well. I want to see what's going on in other areas, and what can I do that other people are doing, and maybe I could implement that into my own market. And I think this just comes at a higher level of thinking later down the road. because it could just be that one thing, just one small golden nugget that completely changes the way you do things, and is just going to make your business skyrocket. Um, it might be hard to imagine, from what I'm telling you now, that this could make dramatic differences or changes, because I'm not giving you anything concrete. But I'll just tell you, I enjoy looking on Zillow, and it feels like reading a travel magazine and just dreaming and imagining. And if you can do this, at least with your local market, even though you may not be able to afford it, you put that dream in your mind, and then you will find a way to achieve it. I want to leave you guys with that final thought, and I'll see you guys in another video.